Hi everyone, good evening. How are you? In today's webinar, we are going to cover topic AWS versus other cloud platforms, which will tell you about the cloud computing and its role in our present world. Very first, I would like to give a brief introduction about our company, Cognixia. Cognixia is an award-winning company arm of Collabera. Cognixia delivers training in more than 37 countries worldwide. As of now, more than 1 million professionals has been trained worldwide. We have more than 450 happy corporate clients across the globe. We also have large team of industry professionals. More than 4,500 industry professionals and subject matter experts are the part of our team. Cognixia is delivering training on industry most demanding technologies and certifications such as IoT, big data, cloud computing, cybersecurity, machine learning, artificial intelligence and deep learning, blockchain technologies, DevOps, and many more. We have a long list of achievements which has proven the business dedication and perfection with quality. Cognixia is consistently making a significant mark in the world of digital technology training by providing the best-in-class training and certification to our students, professionals, and corporate workforce. Cognixia has been awarded with the title Best Emerging Technology Training Organization for 2018, which held in Dubai. Not only this, the Cognixia also has award as the Training Company of the Year by World HRD Congress. If you see, there is a long list of awards and accreditations we have, like Big Data Hooper Developer of Year 2016 and top 10 IoT training institutes we are basically counted, and the top Cloud 5 training institutions of India. There is a long list. Further, in addition, we are authorized global training partner of popular brands such as Red Hat, Microsoft, Pavital, VMware, EMC Square, RSA, ISC Square, MapR, ITIL, Automation Anywhere, and few more are in the queue. In short, I can say that the achievement Cognixia has, it's incredible in a short period of time. Okay, now it's time. I would like to give my short introduction here. My name is Sanjay Sharma and I'm a presenter for this session. By profession, I'm a technical content writer, training and technology consultant. I have more than 18 years of experience in the field of corporate training, project management, business operation, and the subject matter expert with reputed companies. My area of expertise in IT trainings with cloud computing, cybersecurity, Red Hat Linux, VMware data center virtualization, and networking. Along with this, I got a chance to gain a number of certification too. You can see on the screen. But the most significant for this session is I am AWS certified. Okay, this was actually my brief introduction. But here, I want to share one information with you that we have arranged a question answer session at the end of this webinar. If someone has any query or any question, you can write in chat box. In addition, we are also considering here that the attendees of the webinar are beginner for this technology, which is cloud computing. Now we need to focus on our learning path. Here, we discuss about the agenda of our webinar. Very first, we will start with the introduction of cloud computing. Then the scope of cloud computing, the benefits of using cloud computing. Later on, we will do compare among AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud Platform. Now from this point onward, we will be learning AWS Cloud Platform. We will learn about the AWS services, AWS infrastructure, and practical aspects of AWS. It is very useful if we take some hands-on learning experience. So we would cover some lab scenarios also in this session. Secondly, I would explain now what is actually the AWS training and certifications. And also we will share what kind of profile you get once you complete AWS training. Now we can come on to the first point of our agenda. So what exactly is cloud computing? When we ask this question, usually people has a different meaning and answer for it. Some says it's a storage. Some says the cloud computing means leasing computer assets. By seeing these understanding about the cloud computing, I cannot say these answers are fully incorrect, but we are seeking a precise definition for cloud computing. The technology, cloud computing without internet is not possible. It's mean the internet is playing uh, a very vital role for cloud computing. So precise definitions is required. According to the precise definition, the delivery of hosted services over the internet is termed as cloud computing, and according to Amazon Web Services, specifically, I'm talking about here. The cloud computing is the on-demand delivery of compute power, database storage, applications, and other IT resources through the cloud services platform via the internet with pay-as-you-go pricing model. So actually, AWS is emphasizing on this model, pay-as-you-go pricing. Now, I'll discuss about this later on. By definition of AWS, it seems more close to me now. We understand that the cloud computing is eliminating the task of hardware procurement, infrastructure maintenance, and its capacity planning. It's mean the cloud computing is providing developers and IT professionals to focus on core tasks, and that what is most important to run and grow their business, isn't it? Next, here in our definition, we are discussing about hosted services. What are these hosted services? As you know about traditional IT infrastructure in our companies, you see some traditional servers running in our physical environment and providing services to our clients, such as web servers, email servers, DNS servers, storages, and database servers. All these are installed in your physical environment to run business activity. You deploy them in companies' data centers, and companies' IT staff manage it. So all such services counted under hosted services. But when you install and deploy these hosted services over internet using cloud platforms such as AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud, that is termed as cloud computing. At present, number of cloud platforms are available in use. We will talk about them later in detail. But very first, I would like to explain about cloud services model. So cloud services model, actually cloud services model are divided into three basic models. Number one, the software as a service, which is known as SaaS. Platform as a service, we know it as PaaS, and third one is infrastructure as a service, which is called IaaS or IS. So one by one, we would take a brief idea about them. So we start with infrastructure as a service. Infrastructure as a service, sometimes abbreviated as IS. It contains the basic building block for cloud infrastructure and typically provide access to networking features, virtual computers, and data storage space. Infrastructure as a service also provides you flexibility and management control over IT resources. And it is the most similar to your existing IT resources that many IT departments and developers are familiar. In brief, I can say that you can create virtual machines, you can create network infrastructure, you can create your entire network and data center kind of experience over cloud. You can also manage storages over cloud exactly in the same fashion you create in your physical environment. Some IS examples we can take, like in AWS. AWS basically contains all sort of experiences like IS, PaaS, SaaS. But in AWS, EC2, VPC are the basically main services which are inclined towards infrastructure as a service. and in Azure, Windows Azure, and in Google we have the Google Compute Engine, so which you can basically it is very similar to infrastructure as a service. Now, in next slide, it's a basically SaaS. This is another service model of cloud. The software as a service provides you with a complete product that is run and managed by the service provider. In most cases, people referring it to end user application. With the SaaS offering, you do not have to think about how the service is maintained or how to manage infrastructure for application. You need to only think about how you will use that particular piece of software. A common example of SaaS application is web-based email, where you can send and receive email without having managed feature additions to the email product or maintaining the server or an operating system that the email program is running on. So, likewise, we have another examples of SaaS like Office 365. Another slide says about PaaS. It's a platform as a service. It eliminates the need to manage hardware and operating system to manage environment for your developers. This platform is specifically for developers. In a simple language, you do not require hardware, capacity planning, software licensing, and software patching to run applications. It allows you to focus on the deployment and management of your applications. The PaaS typically includes operating systems, programming platforms, databases, web server hosting services, and many more. So we can take some examples for PaaS like the Google App Engine, AWS Elastic Beanstalk, or in Microsoft MS Azure. So all these are the best examples of PaaS. Now, in this slide, we illustrate some examples related to important cloud technologies. First in this series, on the top in the list is cloud data storage. It's a cloud service which is being used to store data over internet, like publicly or for your business need. Another is a chatbot. Chatbot, this technology is gaining popularity. You might have seen on the internet, and it is integrated with many websites also. And in terms of Alexa, you might have seen, I think, chatbots are artificially intelligent program that mimics human conversation using pre-calculated phrases. We see its application in customer support or to know weather conditions in your area, or as a professional finance assistant, or to schedule a meeting, or for marketing purposes. So this way we have another examples also for chatbot. And adoption of chatbots is being increased with rapid pace. Another in the list is streaming services. The video streaming services are on high demand for online entertainment. I'm giving an example of Netflix. These services are providing an alternative to satellite services. Now people want to use these streaming services like Netflix or Amazon Prime. Reason is very clear. You can select program and watch it as per your convenience, or watch it as per your interest. We see Office tool. What is this Office tool? Many of you, I think, maybe you're working on this. This kind of uh, this is a kind of a mixed experience of apps and services. For example, if you use Office 365 online, you do not need to install any Microsoft kind of software on your machine. You can directly access Word, Excel, or PowerPoint using your internet browser. This is a very good example of SaaS, and it has a number of advantages to use. And some way we know about other branches also, like social networking, business process, and data analytics. But I'm not consuming too much time in theory part or explaining part, because we have to do a lot of things with practical part also. So we are just jumping on a second slide, another slide. And today's this, according to this slide, some facts are really countable. I explain those facts today. You find almost every IT related solution over internet using cloud computing, and it's playing a vital role, everybody knows, such as communication, productivity, business processes, data management, application development, IoT, or you can say artificial intelligence also. You would experience the use of cloud computing in every aspect of our life, whether it's a medical field, education field, aviation, governance, space, or research and development. You will find it at your convenience anytime, anywhere. The expected growth of this cloud technology is enormous and infinite, and it also provides enormous possibility in terms of businesses and job opportunities. According to one report published, if you we have this pasted in this report also, the over 1 million cloud computing jobs will be announced by 2022. And as per Forbes, this industry will touch $160 billion in 2020. And as per the trend and models adopted by companies, shows that every company, whether it is a small or a big, private or a government, they will switch on cloud. But before that, we need to know the benefits of cloud computing. Now we are jumping on the benefits of cloud computing. Before that, we must know that today we see the number of cloud computing platforms available from various vendors. Like we know about AWS, we heard about Google Cloud and MS Azure. The small, medium, and even large business houses find some significant benefit to switch on cloud, because of its less cost, high availability, and easy deployment of services. So big players of cloud computing like Amazon, Microsoft, Google, HP, even Alibaba are making huge investment in cloud computing. And Amazon Web Services is a public cloud computing platform, everybody knows. And if you are new for this, you should, this information is quite significant. So AWS is a public cloud computing platform, and it is based on pay-as-you-go model. Now, we have limited actually time to discuss in detail about the benefits or features of cloud computing. So what we are doing, we are taking some major benefits of cloud computing here. The first of all, we just speak about flexibility. Cloud computing is the best business. The cloud computing is the best for businesses actually, where you see a regular change in resource requirement or fluctuating bandwidth of demand according to resources. Can be scaled up or scaled down. Scale up or scale down means anytime we can increase number of resources, we can decrease those number of resources. And to scale down or up to meet the requirement, it is up to your business or business requirement. It's a matter of few seconds. Means you take a few seconds or few minutes to scale up for the scaling up or scaling down. In addition, AWS enables you to select the resources of your choice. For example, you are open to select operating systems, programming languages, databases, web application platforms, and other services as per your requirement. The second is the control capital expenditure. What is the meaning of this? Think about an old and traditional way of your IT services you run, you do require number of servers, storages, routers, switches, cables, databases, firewalls. Means a lot of things are there in order to manage your IT uh, department. Overall cost of the infrastructure was too high because you are purchasing those things in advance. To cut down the cost of existing physical infrastructure, cloud provides an excellent opportunity. You can now choose AWS services which simply based on pay as you go and enjoy the service model instead of having the heavy investment on your hardware and software. Cloud computing provides resources on cloud, and you can configure them as per your need, as per your requirement. So this way you can control, this financial part also. The third is the software update. You might know about the patch management. And with the patch management capabilities, you can automate your patching process. This feature saves your time and reduces the risk of non-compliance. And time to time, supplier of software find vulnerabilities, you know that, and which can be cause of security threat. And to fix them, software update is an essential, which is available free of cost over cloud platform. So this is another benefit. So we do not require any additional WSOS kind of server. Normally people are using such servers to update their existing machines in their existing environment. Now the second is the stop caching capacity. What is the meaning of this? You do not require to basically find a particular number to run your application or environment. When you decide to run an application over cloud, you design an infrastructure as per need. And at the time of designing, you either end up sitting on expensive resources or dealing with limited capacity. But if you are working on cloud computing, you don't see the challenge because the cloud computing allows you to tune the infrastructure as per requirement. And you can define minimum and maximum capacity of the resources, which can scale up or scale down in a few seconds or few minutes, isn't it? So it's really interesting. So this way, you do not basically try to keep that the number of machines, how many number of machines are required to run your infrastructure. So next is data accessibility. Data accessibility over cloud is easy, cheaper, and high available for the business team. Anywhere you can access your data. So because it is on internet, indirectly. Of course, you are using cloud computing, your server is fine on your cloud infrastructure, but even then, the accessibility is there and it is very secure. If you're talking about the security, you can access your data stored over cloud using internet connection from anywhere. And cloud computing security feature is on high priority for cloud computing providers. The reason is very simple. This includes the protection of critical information from data leakage, deletion, and theft. And if you want to transit data from one location to another location, you can use encryption technology or encapsulation technology also. So this way you find that means the data you transfer from one point to another point, or you can say one location to another location, is 100% secure. Another is a disaster recovery. Now people are doing PhDs in disaster recovery. This is very, upcoming field. But here we are saying the cloud disaster is a method or a strategy to take backup of cloud resources, including data, and later on it can be recovered. This provides data recovery and backup strategy, which is happened due to man-made or natural catastrophe. So there is a special services available in cloud platforms. We can use them to implement this strategy. And finally, competence. So, or competitiveness. What is the competitiveness? When you run a business, I'm just taking a simple example. When you run a business, product of business is our ultimate goal. Like if one company is making shoe, so their shoe is basically means how many shoes they can create. They normally fix on the numbers. The business houses or you can say the business house needs to put all his efforts to maintain quality and production numbers of the product. Cloud computing says just focus on your product or just focus on your project and do not put heavy efforts to manage IT infrastructure. On cloud, you do not require heavy lifting of racks, servers, and other resources you normally use in your traditional infrastructure. Infrastructure, software, and a platform are just a few clicks away on cloud. Means if you need to create an infrastructure, it is very easy. If you need to create one machine, it is really easy. If you need to create some snapshot or the connection, so all such kind means long-term jobs are really very easy. It is easy to use for everyone, and you will have better experience and low latency resources. So I can say in brief, the cloud computing allows even smaller businesses to act faster than big and established competitors. So in next slide, we are just going to compare among AWS, Azure, and Google. If you see the comparison among these, we clearly see the market share of AWS is 62%. You know the 62%. If you compare it, means this number is basically huge, and it is huge in terms of others like Azure is 20%, Google is 12% sharing, and others are 6% only. To see this percentage figure, you can easily measure popularity of AWS, or you can say Amazon Web Services. Even as per market prediction for 2020, it is shown that still AWS is leading in cloud computing fields. Now, there are many technical reasons. To select AWS platform. We can take some example why we are just interested in AWS. The large number of data centers are connected over the world. I mean, if you compare with Azure, Google, and other share, AWS has maximum number of data centers. In addition, its dominance in many features like configuration, monitoring, security, enterprise-friendly services. It's open and flexible, and its reach is global. I see many plus point here to choose AWS. Okay, this particular slide basically is showing the comparison among AWS, Azure, and Google. This table contains the information that which particular service and what purpose, for what purpose in various cloud platform use. We can discuss later, but we can take a few things also here, like virtual server. The very first thing here, we can see the virtual server. Virtual servers in AWS, we know them as instances. In Microsoft Azure, we know them as virtual machines, and in Google, virtual machine instances. Similarly, so all these are basically the product of cloud computing platform and how we are just calling them, and their services like Elastic Beanstalk, Lambda, EC2, EKS, S3, Glacier, EFS, CloudFront, Redshift. All these are the services in AWS. Similarly, in Microsoft Azure, virtual machines, cloud services, Azure functions, container services, kubernetes services, the blob, and archive storage, Azure files, delivery network, SQL warehouse. So this way means this shows basically what kind of the services we have in a different platform for a particular technology, like the file storage in AWS. We know it EFS and S3 also, but S3 is object storage. So means when you learn about a particular particular certification like AWS, you will come to know about this. Now, the next is, now it's time to start with AWS. So what exactly is AWS and how we can have some interaction with AWS. Now, in I want to share one actually the concept related information in AWS. In 2006, AWS started IT infrastructure services. Now it is commonly known as AWS Cloud Computing. AWS support all three model of cloud computing, whether it is a infrastructure as a service, software as a service, or a platform as a service. And each model represents a different part of cloud computing stack. AWS offers pay-as-you-go approach for pricing, and it is applicable over 122 cloud services. AWS pricing is very similar that how you can pay for water and electricity. Means it depends. If you're using more, you are paying more. You only pay for the services you consume, and once you stop using them, there are no additional cost or termination fees. AWS market is tremendous huge, and certification of AWS are globally recognized. If you see features of AWS, you find everything you need available at your fingertips. Means it's very simple to use. Indirectly, I can say. Not only this, AWS Access is mobile friendly. AWS also provide serverless cloud functions. In addition, you find database, storages, and security services too. In the list of AWS features, AWS Marketplace is an online store which is available in AWS Management Console. You can see, I'll show you that. AWS Marketplace is an online store where the customer can search and buy softwares for business need. Excellent. You have not to go anywhere to buy images or softwares. Finally, the last point on this slide is AWS free tier account. So AWS provides free access on AWS Cloud Computing platform with certain usage limit. AWS calls this is the AWS free tier. I'll show you that. The free tier is designed to give you hands-on experience. This is the purpose why people are offering us a free tier. AWS provides this excellent opportunity to businesses and individuals for testing and learning purpose. I would like to share a link. You can use this link to register. This I have. Just a minute. This is the link. awsamazon.com/free/free-tier. If you hit enter here, you can find this is a screen where you can create your free account. Click on a free tier account, the free account. You can select as you're saying. Let's say I'm an entrepreneur. I'm interested in learning and certification, and submit, isn't it? And it will ask you a number of questions. I'm already actually logged in, so that's why I'll not see that particular screen. I'm here, I'm just already logged in. And if you see the screen, it will ask you to create actually your account. You have to provide the name, your email ID, and you have to share your credit card also in order to create a new account. But right now, I'm just signing in my account to show you. This is my login screen, and this is your AWS Management Console. I'll explain you one by one. But very first, the AWS Cloud Computing Platform offers a list of services and features like high availability, load balancing, unlimited storage capacity, network design, network traffic control, security to access your virtual machines, disaster management, identity and access management, domain related services you can use here, monitoring and performance management, AWS cloud connectivity with your own premises network, and cloud formation. Cloud formation means this is a kind of a service by using some programming code you can create cloud over cloud platform without knowing how you can create it. So it's basically an excellent. This is same. This is the same way you use actually the bootstrap kind of code on your machines. Now, the most important part is now coming. AWS global infrastructure. AWS is using basically in background Zen hypervisor. Zen hypervisor. Zen is basically a hypervisor like VMware hypervisor. We have ESXi hypervisors or KVM hypervisors. So AWS using Zen hypervisors in their data centers to manage hardware resources. Global infrastructure of AWS is quite strong. You see the number of circles throughout the world. AWS provides services in more than 190 countries throughout the world. AWS infrastructure is available in terms of AWS regions. So all these circles I show here, these are basically regions. In some regions, some numbers are written like 3, 6, 2. In some regions, I can see 1. So means every region can have some number, and in India we have one region, that is, this is the Mumbai location, this is the Mumbai region. So what are the regions? Regions are geographical locations. Regions are geographical location. Approximately 16 regions you can see on the screen. So we have 16 regions as of now. So all these regions and number of availability zones are listed here. I'll come on that. Like we have a region in North Virginia, Ohio. This is Singapore. This is Mumbai, isn't it? And many others. So each region further distributed in availability zone. So basically, if you see the number, so this circle explains this is a region, and this number explains that this particular region has 2 availability zones. This particular region has 2 availability zones. So maximum availability zone you can find in North Virginia. This you can see number 6 here, isn't it? So every region has at least 2 availability zones, and some regions have 6 availability zones. So basically these numbers are varying between 1 and 6. Availability zones are basically a cluster of data center in that particular region. What is the availability zone? Availability zones are basically a cluster of data center in a particular region. Like if you are talking about Mumbai region, in Mumbai region, of course, this is the one region. And in one region, we have 2 availability zones. And 2 availability zones means every zone is a cluster of data centers. So this way, if you see, AWS cloud infrastructure is distributed very technically and available to everyone with the minimum latency. Means their interconnection is so fast, they are connected with a high speed bandwidth. Means if the data is transferred from one availability or one region to another region, so it takes basically a minimum time. So I'm saying that the latency is minimum. The further explanation and details about global infrastructure we will cover in the train. Now, let's talk about AWS services. If you open your AWS management console, you see number of services on the screen, such as AWS EC2, it's an Elastic Compute Cloud, RDS, it's a RDBMS database service. Direct connection. The direct connection is a service which provides you to connect the cloud environment with your physical existing environment in your office. So that can happen with the help of direct connection. EBS, Elastic Block Storage. Elastic Block Storage is a block storage which you normally use to connect with your virtual machine called EC2 instance. S3, Simple Storage Service. The Simple Storage Service is a storage service over AWS. So this way we have each service has a unique function and purpose. In the next slide, the first screen you see when you log in your AWS Management Console, it is used to access and manage AWS services using web browser. This AWS Management Console facilitates the cloud management for all aspects. You see the list of services in this console home, and you can also see the services are separated by group name. I show you these are the group names, like the compute is a group name, storage and content delivery is a group name, database is a group name, networking. So networking related services are separate, compute related services are separate, the storage and content delivery services are separate. So this way, if you see, means for every purpose we have a group, and under that group we have a number of services available. So this is basically the slide I was using. But if you just go online, so online they have just changed the screen now like this. This is a compute group, this is a storage group, this is a database group, this is a migration and transfer group, and this is a management and governance, media services, machine learning. This way we have number of groups, and each group has number of services. Like I'm talking about, like compute. Compute is a group. It's related to compute power related to your infrastructure normally using if you want to create a virtual machine. So that service you find under compute group, and that service is like EC2. So these all are the service: EC2, Lightsail, ECR, ECS, EKS, Lambda, Batch, Elastic Beanstalk. All these are the services. Under storage you see S3 EFS, S3 Glacier, Storage Gateway, AWS Backup, and under management and governance, CloudWatch, Autoscaling, CloudFormation, CloudTrail, Config, OpsBox, Service Catalog. So we have more than 140 major services. We have more than 140 major services. According to their manual, the total number of services, whether they are minor or major, those counts goes beyond 1,400. So more than 1,400 services we have in AWS. Okay. Now we just go back to our slide. Yes. Now we'd like to take one lab activity to demonstrate, to give some idea about AWS. Means how to create a virtual machine and take its remote using AWS Management Console. So we can create a Linux machine as well as Windows machine. That is up to you. One more thing is there. The people normally say you should require a Linux knowledge to learn AWS. This is a kind of a myth. If you have little knowledge about Linux, it's okay. If you don't have even then you can learn AWS. For AWS, Linux part is not essential, but I'll not ignore this part. If you have additional knowledge in some subjects, that particularly definitely benefits you. In the next screen, EC2 instance. EC2 instance is a compute service in AWS cloud environment. EC2 is a compute service, and using EC2 you can create a virtual machine. Virtual machine means instance. So in AWS we call it instance. Instance means virtual machine. And AWS provides a virtual environment where you can create EC2 instance which replaces your hardware need. Using EC2 service, you can save a huge investment cost to run your physical environment. You can develop and deploy web application in a very less time. In order to create a virtual machine, you normally require three things. You understand. Number one, you need an operating system image. Number two, you need computer hardware like computer resource in which CPU, RAM, network card, and other kind of the hardware need to be there to run your machine. And third is block storage, which acts as a hard disk. So three things are essential. Number one is operating system, number two computer hardware, and number three block storage, which acts as a hard disk. Is it? And in the very last line, if you see, I'm talking about cryptography. I'll come on that. What is this cryptography and how we will use cryptography on this EC2 instance. So this is a diagram which basically explains your virtual machine you are going to create on AWS. So in AWS, we will use EC2 service to create virtual machine. So we call it as EC2 instance. EC2 instance, if you see, we have three major parts. Number one is AMI, number two is EBS volume, and number three is instance type. So let's start with AMI. What is AMI? In AWS, you create instances using operating system templates. So you should be very clear on this. Means I'm not using any DVD of operating system. I'm not using any ISO image of operating system. I'm using what? I'm using AMI, Amazon Machine Image, and this is an operating system template. So I'll use the operating system template to launch my EC2 instance. By using a pre-configured template of a machine, you can create a number of instances of similar type in very less time. Means if you want to multiply a similar kind of a machine, if you want to create a number of machine on the same platform in the same region, you can use that particular AMI, which is called Amazon Machine Image. AMI contains image of running operating system such as Linux, Windows operating system. In AMIs, you can also include some specific application and configurations as per requirement. Clear? Next, we are talking about EBS. What is this EBS? EBS volume in virtual machines behaves like hard disk or hard disk drives. As you've seen in your physical machines, EBS is a block level storage. You should be very clear on this. EBS is a block level storage. So what is a block level storage? Block level storage can be used as hard disk, isn't it? But object level storage cannot be used as hard disk. So we are using the block storage, and in AWS, EBS service provides EBS volumes, and that comes under block storage, is it? So EBS volume to be attached with EC2 instance, and multiple volumes can be attached to one instance. It means if you want to attach more than one EBS volume with one virtual machine, you are open to do so, isn't it? EBS volumes provide high availability and durability, and we will come on that. Means how many kind of EBS volumes are there. Some are SSD, some are magnetic volumes. We will come on that. Okay, and this is basically the instance type. So all three or four things are there. So I think I should open my management console, AWS management console, to give more clarification. This is the very first screen I see. When you log in into your account, you see AWS management console. This is the very first screen. And just a minute. This is your account name. So my account name is APS Learning. You open it, you can find my account, my organization, my billing dashboard, my security credentials, and this is a sign out. And here, just next to this APS Learning, North Virginia is written. What is North Virginia? North Virginia is basically region. So total 16 number of or active regions are there. So you are open to choose any one of them. So I choose North Virginia. And if you want to choose Mumbai, you can click on Mumbai. You see the region has been changed. Right now I'm just going to select North Virginia. It means whatever job you are going to do here, it will be stored and it will be constructed in North Virginia. So this is a search box. You just write the name of the service if you know. Otherwise, you can just scroll down and try to find out your service. Like under compute group, you see EC2. This is to create a virtual machine. Click on this EC2, Elastic Compute Cloud. The service name is Elastic Compute Cloud. So this is your EC2 dashboard, isn't it? And this EC2 dashboard saying you have a one running instance, means the one machine is running in this particular region, and you have one snapshot. I'll come on that. What is a snapshot? And you have 25 security groups. Maybe you cannot see all these security because if you open very first time, you rarely find any security group here. But because I'm using very frequently, and you see a button launch instance. You click on this launch instance. I'm just going to create a one EC2 instance here. So this is the very first step I'm taking. So first of all, you open EC2 dashboard, and in EC2 dashboard, click on launch instance. So this is the first screen in this step. So AMI, I was talking about AMI. I just repeat it again. So AMI is basically an operating system template, and it depends on you what sort of machine you want to create. Either you are needing a Windows machine or Linux machine. Because I'm using free tier account, I'm using a free account and this account is for learning purpose basically. And you see you have a number of AMIs to use, but some are free. If you select a free image or you try to find the free image, you see very clearly free tier eligible. So this is a free. So if you see the free tier eligible, it means this particular image is free, but few images are not free. Like this particular image is not free, isn't it? So these images under which the free tier eligible is not written are not free. So it is up to you. So what kind of image you want to select, but I recommend you to just take a free eligible tier to avoid any charges in your account. And I was talking about AWS Marketplace. So if you see the left side of the screen, you have few options like Quick Start, My AMI, AWS Marketplace, and Community AMI. If you see AWS Marketplace, if you don't find actually your operating system in that particular list, you can choose it here. Like I'm just going to select Bitnami. The Bitnami was not there. I just write Bitnami and hit enter. You find the WordPress certified by Bitnami and Automatic. It's Bitnami. So all these are Bitnami by Bitnami. Or let's say you want to select anything related to LAMP. I don't know the LAMP will exist or not, but I'll see that yeah, the LAMP is there. The LAMP with PHPS, the LAMP servers are there, isn't it? So according to if you see the marketplace or AMI, and more than 4,000 AMIs are available. More than 4,000 types of machines are available, and every machine is different from another. It's okay. So it means you have a huge number of AMI, and you can select as per your requirement. So right now, I just delete it, and I just go once again. I find my image. Let's say I'm just going to create first of all Linux website, sorry, Linux machine. So click on this select button. So my Linux is Amazon Linux 2. Later on we can create one Windows machine also. Click on this, and this is the second screen, and this screen is basically asking you to choose instance type. What is the instance type? Actually, instance type is a kind of a hardware selection for your machine, in which the CPU and memory both are selected. So we have a predefined number of configurations in AWS environment. And if I see this, if I see this general purpose M5D.24x large, so this machine has 96 virtual CPUs and 384 GB RAM. My goodness, I don't see in our physical environment this configuration, but we are using free tier account, and for free tier account, so AWS is only permitting to use T2.micro. So type. So all these are the basically type. We will learn in detail in our training sessions, but these all are the basically the types of machines we are using. The some are starting with T. If they are starting with the T2 or T3, it means these are the general purpose machines. These belong to general purpose family, and some are starting with the C, C5, C4, and C3. So all these are basically CPU intensive configured machines. And similarly, if you see G3, P3, P2, all are GPU intensive, and some are memory intensive configurations. They're starting with R5A, R5D. Like, it is up to you what kind of need you have. You can select accordingly, and the pricing we can see online in our AWS website. But right now we have only one option to select, the T2.micro. In T2.micro, we have only one virtual CPU and 1 GB RAM. And 1 GB RAM and one virtual CPU is enough to install almost any general operating system for server machines, like Linux operating system as well as Windows operating system. I'll show you that. Configure instance detail. The next, I select, and third screen. In third screen, you see the configure instance detail, where you want to create this machine, in which particular network you want to create this machine. So we have an option to select our network that comes under here. So we have two networks right now. So I'm taking the default VPC. VPC is a virtual private cloud, isn't it? The virtual private cloud. So in our one region, we can have multiple VPCs. So you are open to create number of VPCs in a one region, and every region will have a basically a different number of networks or different number of subnets. So this is the VPC, and under VPC we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 subnets. So by default, these subnets are equal to number of availability zones you have in this particular region. For North Virginia, we have 6 availability zones. That's why if you open and see in your account, you always find you have 6 subnets by default created. So I'm not selecting a particular subnet to create my machine. For me, it is really important to select network, which is a default VPC, and in third option, the auto assign public IP. So we have two different settings, enable and disable. If you want to provide a public IP address to your machine, so this option must be enabled. And if you don't want to provide a public IP address to your machine, in that case, this must be disabled. Why we are providing a public IP address? If you want to access your machine from internet, then this option should be enabled. So by default, it is enabled. And sometimes we create a private machines. Private machine means we do not want to access them over internet. So in that case, we can disable the setting. If you disable the setting, it means your machine will not get any public IP address. So right now, what I'm doing, I'm enabling it. Okay. Now, rest other settings, let it be as it is. I'm not touching any part. Next is add storage. What is a storage? You know, EBS volume in virtual machines behaves like a hard disk. Hard disk drives, as you've seen in our physical machines. EBS, of course, I already told you that EBS is a block level storage. EBS volumes to be attached with EC2 instances, isn't it? So right now, you see that for this particular Linux machine, 8 GB EBS block is connected. You can change its size. You can change its size because you are using free tier. You can use up to 30 GB of EBS general purpose SSD free of cost. So you have to be very clear here. And you have 3 different kind of volumes. One is a general purpose, which is a solid state device, and provisioned IOPS. Provisioned IOPS where you can calibrate its or you can improve its read write speed using IOPS, and magnetic, which is a very standard we normally use in our environment. So normally we select the general purpose SSD for our operating system to install. Now, and you are open to add few more hard disks like this EBS. If you are willing, if you want to add few more hard disks this way, like I want to add provision one. In provision, you can increase or decrease your IOPS, input output operations per second. And like I'm just taking the 500 IOPS for this hard disk, and it is not encrypted. By default, it is not encrypted. But if you want to encrypt your hard disk, you can select encryption type, and this way you can add one more. And if you want to remove it, you can remove simply by crossing them. Now, one option is ticked here. This option is basically the delete on termination. What is the meaning of delete or termination? This option is selected here by default. If this is selected, it means if you delete your EC2 instance, this EBS volume will also be deleted, isn't it? But if you want to spare your EBS volume, if you do not want to delete your EBS volume, so you can deselect it. So by default, it is selected. It means if you delete your EC2 instance, your EBS volume means hard disk connected with that virtual machine will also be deleted, isn't it? Now, add tag. What is the meaning of tag here? Tag is a label that you assign to an AWS resource, and each tag consists a key and an optional value, both of which you define, like the key and value. And why it is important? The tags enable you to categorize your AWS resources in a different way. For example, by purpose, or you can say honor or environment. This is useful when you do kind of an auditing in your environment, or this is useful when you have many resources of same type. You can quickly identify a specific resource based on the tag. So the tagging is really important. Normally you see the tagging of your hardware resources in your existing environment too. Now I want to add a tag with this machine. So my key is like say name, and I'll say my webinar instance. Okay, and if you want to add more than one tag, you can write like department. Department is, let's say, finance, or you can also say like floor. I'll say this machine is existing in, let's say, 10th floor. Okay, so this way you can tag more than one keys and as well as their values. So configure security group. What is the meaning of security? Security guru. In a physical environment, you often install a firewall to filter your unwanted traffic. And in a similar way, security group in AWS environment is linked with EC2 instance as a virtual firewall, which allows traffic filtration as per configuration. A security group is a bunch of firewall rules that decide what to allow or what to deny. By default for security groups, all traffic is denied. I'll tell you, like if you see, this is a security group. Let's say we do not have any security group. If you have any existing security group you already created here, you can choose them and you can directly connect with this particular machine you are just going to create now. But because I'm just giving a complete demonstration about EC2 instance, how we are creating it and how we are creating its component. So what we are doing, we are creating a new security group here, because we are using Linux instance. Let's say Linux instance require port number 22 to be open to take its remote from internet or any another remote location. It means your SSH port should be open, isn't it? The SSH port should be open. So by default, the SSH under the protocol TCP and the port number is 22. And from everywhere, everywhere means I'm taking everywhere to demonstrate, but this is not a good practice. If you have a particular IP address on your machine, you can provide that particular IP address in that particular security group to take the remote. But for practice right now, I'm just opening all port. I don't know what IP address and what subnet I'll get on my machine. So that's why I'm just means giving all possible IP addresses with all possible subnets. So my port number 22 is open to take the remote of this machine. But what if I also want to open the ping command? Because as of now, my ping will not happen to this machine. In order to see the response of ping command, so that the protocol which is responsible for ping command should be open. So what is that particular protocol? The protocol is ICMP for IP version 6. So the protocol name is ICMP, and the port range is taken, all possible port range. And again, I'm just choosing any IP address so that anybody can ping my machine. So these two rules are included in this security group. And if you want to give the name of the security group, you can provide like webinar SG. Now review and launch. And finally, this shows this is the review of your launching machine. And the very last option you see, the EC2 key pair. What is a key pair? AWS uses public key cryptography to log in into EC2 instance. Public key cryptography. Public key cryptography contains two different kind of keys. The one is a public key and another is a private key. Public key is used to encrypt the information and private key is used to decrypt the encrypted information. I repeat once again, public key is used to encrypt the information and private key is used to decrypt the information, and both keys are a part of a set, isn't it? So AWS uses a pair of keys in which public key used to encrypt the password and private key is used to decrypt the password. So you create a key pair for login into EC2 instance. One key pair can be used with the multiple instances for login purpose. Means the same key can be used for with another instance also. It depends on you. But if you want a separate key for each instance, you can create number of keys in your account. If needed, you can also import key pair from your external resources, and AWS basically generates that using the SSH2 or RSA algorithm. So by the way, one more information is there. AWS account can have up to 5,000 key pairs per region. So yeah, this is a very vital information certification point of view. AWS account can have up to 5,000 keys the key pairs per region, and by default you get a public key in a .pem format file. So all these information are written so here, and we provide you a very elaborated and detailed study material and presentations and slides. So when you learn in an explained way, you would see that how the things are going. Now launch instance. You selected a one name. I think you might have seen that. View instance, and this activity takes a few minutes to start. So one machine is running here. What I do, I stop that machine. Just a minute. This is my running machine. Earlier it was running, and this is the new machine I just created. The name of this machine is webinar instance. So I selected my old machine and go to action and instance state, and I'm just stopping it. Okay, so this way you will have no confusion. This is my machine I just created. This is the machine. It takes hardly few minutes to start. And this is the machine, and this machine gets an IP address, public IP address. This is the public IP address my machine gets, and this is the private IP address. So my machine has two IP address. One is a public IP address, another is a private IP address. And if I want to ping my machine, you just open CMD and try to ping your machine. See, it's working. No, it's taking time. Okay, IP address is different. I think I use a different IP address. This is the different IP address. This is the machine. Yes. So my machine is responding, isn't it? So this is my webinar instance, and if I see the details in description, we have basically the 4 tabs here. One is description, status check, monitoring, and tags. So we had 3 tags here. In keys, you can see the department, floor, and name. The name is webinar instance. If you choose description tab, first of all, you see the instance ID, the instance state is running, the instance type, what kind of hardware is selected. That is the T2.micro. Of course, it was available for free tier eligible. And one more thing is there, which is blank, called elastic IP address. Elastic IP address means fixed public IP address. So this machine has no fixed public IP address. Of course, this machine has public IP address. This public IP address is 3.95.28 and 52, isn't it? And this is created in availability zone US East 1D, and this machine is integrated with security group. The security group name is webinar security group SG, and this security group has 2 different kind of rules, the one for incoming traffic and one for outgoing traffic. For incoming traffic, inbound rules we will configure, and for outgoing traffic generated on my machine, which are going out, we have to configure the outbound. Now, what particular AMI is selected to launch this machine? This is the AMI ID, Amazon Machine Image, and this is the key pair we have used. If you want to log in into this machine, you require this particular key pair. You must have this key pair. So you have to be very careful. You will not share this key pair with anybody if you want to keep your machine safe. So ABCD Wind Demo 2019, and this is the owner of this machine, of course, is my account number and AWS account number, of course, and a lot other things are there. I'm not covering all right now. And network interface is ETH0, and this is your public IP address, and this is your public DNS. This public DNS is a kind of a FQDN of your machine. If you use this particular public DNS instead of public IP address, you find the response from this public DNS, isn't it? So why I'm able to ping my machine? Because ICMP port is open. Now, how I can take a remote of this machine? So there is a tool which is called MobX term. I'll just open MobX term. MobX term. This is available free of cost. You can download and install on a machine. This is a small tool which supports all sort of sessions here. Click on session. So this is an excellent tool. The people were using PuTTY earlier, but I think it is better than PuTTY, because SSH, Telnet, RSH, RDP, VNC, FTP, SFTP, and other kind of the links can be easily means established. And this has a AWS S3 option also to create a session with AWS simple storage service. But right now I need a SSH session, and for that the first of all, you just copy the public DNS or public IP address of the machine and paste it here, and specify the username of the machine. The username of the machine. So what username is required? So if you actually see here, this particular machine is selected, go to the connect button, which is lying between launch instance and action. As you click on connect, you simply find that the username is written here, EC2 user, isn't it? So what we are doing, we just write here EC2 user, EC2 user, and click on advanced SSH setting to mention the private key which you have. And what was the name of the private key? ABCD Demo 2019.pen. This is the key I stored in my machine, local machine. So you provided three things. Number one, the public DNS of your machine, which you have already created, and username of the machine, and the port number, and your private key you have in your machine. Now, OK. As you click on OK, it will take few seconds and you'll find that you are in. Did you get that? It's okay. And this is a Linux machine. If you know about the Linux, it's okay. If you don't know, please do not bother about it. We have another option. We will create one Windows machine and see how you can take the remote of that Windows machine. And from here, this machine has internet connectivity. If you want to check the internet connectivity, let's see. Your machine is well responding to internet. I'll take a 1 minute break here. Just a minute. Hi everyone. So I'm starting again. So as of now, we created one EC2 instance, and this instance is working here. This instance is working here, and we saw that we can easily communicate with that particular machine. To check the connectivity, we tried ping command here, and the ping command is responding well. Now, one more thing. So using Mobex term, we took the actually the remote of this machine. So I want to actually display some activity on this machine. How you can make it as a web server? It's simple. First of all, use a sudo su space hyphen to switch to your root account, and first of all install one package which is called the httpd yum install httpd. This is really simple. You'll see that the httpd has been installed. Just a minute. I run this command, the yum install httpd, and after this command, you just run a command service httpd on to start the service. Sorry, not on, start. This is the command, and another command is check config httpd on to keep this service on when you restart the machine. So this way httpd package has been installed, and this machine automatically is connected with Linux repository. Not need to actually configure repository client here. So this is the beauty of AMI images. So these are already connected with repositories. So better to just go to that particular directory where you need to create HTML file. First of all, this is the directory, and if you see ls space -l, you see there is no index.html file. I'll take a very simple command. This is my web server to demonstrate web activity, and this line I want to transfer to index.html file. Let's say my web server is ready and I need to check web server is ready or not. And you know that web server require the port number 80 should be open. But if you see my security group, this is a security group, click on inbound rules. We written a rule for SH, we written a rule for ICMP, but we don't have any rule for port number 80. Then you need to write a port number 80 rule here. First of all, click on edit and add rule and select the port number. The port number is HTTP for my HTTP server. Automatically the port range is selected. That's the port number 80. And again, the custom, I want to access this from anywhere. Save. And it has been saved. And now go back to your instance. So this is the instance. The instance name was webinar instance. And this is the IP address I was using. And if I try to open http:// using this IP address, you can also try at your end 3.95.28.52, and as you press enter, you see that this page has been published. So this is the easiest way, so this is very easy to actually host your website. Your host means if we had that the content of website. So first of all, you transfer those content to your EC2 instance and just open the port number 80 or HTTPS, and you see that your website is launched. So this is really easy. Okay, did you find that this is really easy? I cannot directly communicate with you people, but I hope you would have tried, isn't it? Okay, so this is the easiest way. Another option we have, if you're interested to see how you can create your Windows machine, I'll take a 1 minute time to create a Windows machine and take its control or remote. I'm just going to launch one more machine. I'll take a few minutes to create a new machine. Just go to AMI, and my AMI is let's say I'm not taking 2019. 2019 will take a lot of time to start. I'm taking 16 base, you can take, or 2012 R2 base. I think this is better. Server 2012 R2 base, and it's a free tier eligible. I'm selecting this image and t2.micro, the same instance type configuration. And in network, I'm selecting default VPC, and other setting let it be as it is. Add tag, and if you this is a storage. This time instead of 8 GB by default, it took already automatically 30 GB. I'm okay with 30 GB. This is the hard disk, which is called EBS volume. Now add tag. You don't have tag any. I can write the tag like say name and webinar Windows, and it's a 2012R. So I will say 12R, and this is your security group. I'm just going to create a new security group. I'll say webinar security group 2. And this time instead of SSH, RDP protocol is selected, and the port number 3389 for RDP protocol. Add rule. I'm just checking. I'm taking ICMP to check ping. Later on, you can remove or you can edit these rules. Launch, and very last, this is the key pair. I have a key pair. I have an existing key pair. If you want to create a new key pair, you can select the create a new key pair. You can write the key name here. Let's say I'm just writing A, B, C, D, webinar, Windows, and download this key pair. And you see this key pair has been created. You see this? You can just copy it and paste it in a particular folder. Let's say instance keys. I have number of keys here. I just copied, well, launch the instance. This activity will take 4 to 5 minutes because Windows takes more time to install, isn't it? And you see that this is under creation. And if you see in a status, the instance state, it's pending. And what instance type you used? You used t2.micro, and this is the instance ID. This is the instance state, and the status. The status is this machine is being initialized, and this is the public IP address. Once it is completed, I can take a remote of this machine using RDP. Okay, and this will take time. And meantime, we can do one thing, because we have very limited time. We come on the next slide. AWS certification. AWS offers a role-based certification to validate expertise. AWS offers certification in 3 verticals. We have 3 verticals. You see, this is the one vertical, architect is one vertical, developer is a one vertical, and operations is another vertical. And in this, we have different kind of certification. If you select architect, we start with the AWS certified cloud practitioner, AWS certified solution architect, and finally professional version is AWS certified solution architect professional. But if you select developer vertical, then we start with the AWS certified cloud practitioner. Actually, all these cloud practice, whether it is you're selecting architect, developer, or operation, so these are basically the common and the foundation kind of certification, and we are including in our training. Means if you're just going to start your AWS, it's been this foundation level is already been included in your training. So we start from here. Like if you're just selecting AWS certified solution architect, so the associate level certification, you can next go for the professional version, the professional certification. Now, if you start the developer, the AWS certified developer associate and AWS certified DevOps engineer professional certification. Finally, we have now third vertical, AWS certified cloud practitioner. The first we will start from here because this is foundation level. Second is AWS certified SysOp administrator, and third is AWS certified DevOps engineer professional. And we have some specialty certifications also, and these certifications are AWS certified advanced networking specialty, and AWS certified big data specialty, and AWS certified security specialty. So these are the total number of certifications AWS provides. Is it? Now, most important, during the online training from Cognixia, what you would get? First of all, the study material, the software codes. Next is software codes. What is the software code? Software codes or programs to complete your lab scenario. Next is you will get number of assignments to sharpen technical skills. Next is we also conduct assessments time to time. And after every online session, you would get the recording of the session. And finally and the most important, we provide technical support to our students or our attendees. Means if you face any technical issue, if you face any technical thing which is not being solved, so we help you to basically solve your problem. Now the next is opportunity after AWS training. So AWS is very wide platform, and AWS is hottest trending platform. Everybody knows. Demanding for cloud professional is very high. The means demand of AWS professional is very high right now in this field. You can get job easily, growth is positive, and pay scales are extremely good. But the one thing is there, so you must have a proper knowledge for the subject. And after completion of AWS training and hands-on, you get opportunity as cloud architect, operation support, system integrator cloud, DevOps engineer, solution architect, system administrator, software developer, and subject matter expert. And many other job profiles are there, but I took very basic things here. Now, in the last, we can say that the AWS career and the cloud skills are on rise, and people seeking opportunity in IT field has no shortage of job and business opportunity. Is it? Now, let's see what happened to my machine. I'm just going to open the machine. I think the machine should be ready. It's saying the machine is running. So the first of all, you select the machine. The machine is already selected, and this machine has this public IP address 3.95.147 and 161. Can I try and ping this machine? Okay, this is a different machine. I should open my CMD, ping, and see, it's responding. It means my machine is ready. Is it? Now, I want to connect my machine. The first of all, get the password. So what was the file name? The key name was awswebinar windows.pam. I'm going to that particular folder where that key was saved. So this is the ABC. If you open it and decrypt password, you find the password. So this is the password, isn't it? You can copy and paste somewhere in some safe place. Let's say I'm just saving it here. Okay. Now download your remote desktop file and try to open it and connect. And the password should be here, and I'm pasting password and click on OK and yes, and you find that machine is connected, isn't it? 1 GB is quite less for this machine, this kind of machine, but you are learning. I'm okay with this. It's great. It's okay. This way you can create Linux machine as well as Windows machine, and you can take their remote easily. Okay. So this is the thing. So at the same time, I have a remote of Linux machine as well as the remote of Windows machine, isn't it? It is really simple. So I created both Windows machine as well as Linux machine. Now, if you want to take a snapshot of the machine, if you want to take a backup of this machine, EBS volume, you have the number of options in this dashboard. If you see the left-hand side navigation bar, you find that images, under images, you can create an image of this machine. This, as of now, up till now, you are using AWS, AMI of your operating system, ready-made AMIs of your operating system. But if you want to create your own AMI, you are open to create your own AMIs. And you can share those AMIs with other AWS accounts. And you can take a snapshot of your machines. Snapshot is basically kind of a backup on a particular time of instance. And you can manage security groups. You have a number of security groups. And you can choose elastic IP address to connect with your EC2 instances. If you want to provide a fixed IP addresses, you can select this option, elastic IP address, and you can create key pairs. We have a number of key pairs right now in my account. And network interfaces, by default we have number of network interfaces, and every interface is connected with one individual machine. And we have the load balancers, elastic load balancing we can do from this particular option. Auto scaling is there, and this is, I'm talking only about one dashboard. This is the only one service. So such kind means this way we have a number of services available in our AWS account. But I think for this webinar, this much of technical demonstration about technology is enough. I'm just taking a 1-minute break to interact with my team. Now we have a question answer session here. If anybody has a question, please type question on the chat box. Okay. 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 Hello everyone. If you have any question, you can write in the chat box, and I can answer if you have some technical questions. Hello. If you have any question, please ask. You can write your question on the chat box. Okay. Okay. Just a minute. I'm taking questions. Number of questions are there, but I'm taking number number wise. Just a minute. You give me a second to select. Yes, availability cost. To keep the instance on the free tiers. Free tier. It's not free tier. It's a free tier. Yeah, definitely. Some actually Vijay Kulkarni is asking, will it be cost if keep instances in free tier? No, if you are selecting free tier, there will not be any additional charges. But the thing is there, I mean, in free tier, the 750 total hours are free of cost. If you're consuming more than 750 hours in AWS, definitely it will be costing you per month basis. This is on a per month basis. Next is Hema Srinivasan. Will it be possible to get this recording session? I think our technical team can help you. Next is Sandeep Verma. Will my server shut down if my machine is off? Definitely. If you off your machine, if you shut down your machine, definitely your cloud server will be shut down. So it is up to you if you require to, if you want to require up this machine, so you have not to stop it. Next is Gotham. The Gotham Primanant. Will this slide used for the webinar be available after the webinar? I think my technical team, my support team can help you to provide this. And another one is the Pinder Singh. The Pinder Singh has left, and Praveen Patil, why we have to choose AWS against Azure? Just because it is in the business for longer time and have large number of market share? No, this is not the thing only. Because the number of AWS services, because of AWS services and its support, and AWS is charging on a per hour basis. However, if you just think about another platform, they are charging. AWS is, I feel that it's cheaper and it's more supportive. But no doubt the people are also selecting other platform also, but according to me, my experience with AWS is quite great. Next is Onway Joshua, why the AWS 2019 not active? Not active means 2019. The few images are basically available free of cost, and few images are not available free of cost. So I think the whatever basically listed in AWS AMI, those are active. You select and just install and see that you find that these machines are active. Next is Vinod T. Why do we use Linux? No, we are not forcing you people to use Linux. We use both Linux as well as Windows also. The Linux is production machines because they are lighter in weight, and the installation and the configuration, if you know, Linux is much easier as compared to any other platform. Windows is good for Active Directory system, and if you are using .NET kind of platform, you can choose Windows also. It is up to you. So both platforms are. And next is Koduru Ajay Kumar. He has a question. Just a minute, I'm checking. Why you have particular selected North Virginia as your region? Any region for this? No, I'm not particularly selecting the North Virginia. You are basically you can choose any other region. It is up to you, but you can find high number of AWS services in North Virginia. Even Mumbai location also is very good. You can select. It is up to you because you are in India, and you if you prefer to select Mumbai, it is good for you because you find the least latency over there. Just a minute. Ramesh Venkataraman, will you share the recorded session? Yeah, definitely. We will connect to our team, and definitely they can provide. You do not require any experience in cloud computing, but you should know what is networking and what is computer infrastructure, and some knowledge of operating system administration, whether it is a. Next is just a minute. Aluwalia, definitely I'll answer this. Aluwalia has left, I think. Ramesh Venkatraman, will you share the recorded session? Everybody is talking about recorded session. Will you share the PPT with AWS? No experience, but hi everyone. I think it's a time to complete the session. If you have any question, you can reach Cognixia team, whether it is a technical or related to your any other query. You can reach Cognixia team and they will answer you. And if it is related to any technical part, so definitely I'll answer. You can drop a mail to them. Thank you very much for this session, everyone. Okay, bye.